The crypto market is down, the stock market is down, a potential World War III is looming around the corner. We've got global tariff wars breaking out right now. The Chinese economy is crumbling, so much is going wrong in the world, and everyone in the financial markets is super sour. My DMs are filled with people asking me if this is the top, or if we've already seen the top of the Bitcoin bull market. And in this video, I'm going to reveal my answer, my perspective on whether we've already missed the top or whether this is just a little dip in a long-term bull market trend. And I'm going to be using 8 different market indicators, which historically have been 100% accurate in predicting the tops and bottoms of crypto market cycles within a range of just a few days or a few weeks. And these indicators are super important because people always ask me like, Mitchell, what price do you think that the top will be? Or what price do you think the bottom of the market will be? Guys, the price of Bitcoin or any crypto project, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't tell you the full story. Whenever you're going to the doctor, they're first going to measure your 4 vital signs. They're going to check your temperature, your heartbeat, and 2 more. I'm not a doctor. Anyways, the doctor will first check all of your vital signs to see how healthy you are. And the same can be done for the crypto market. There are 8 indicators which will show you the overall health of the crypto market because, you know, the price of Bitcoin can be at $69,000 and it could be the top of the previous bull market and everyone is super greedy. And right now the price is hovering somewhere around $70,000, $80,000, which is significantly higher, and the market is at extreme fear. So guys, the price of Bitcoin doesn't really matter. Now, also in this video, I'm going to talk mainly about Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is still the big mover of the entire crypto space. When the price of Bitcoin goes up, everyone is more greedy and everything tends to follow. Ethereum tends to follow later, altcoins tends to follow later. So in this video, we are going to talk about the price of Bitcoin as a proxy to the entire sentiment in the whole crypto market. Similarly with tops and bottoms, when Bitcoin tops out, very soon after, altcoins will also top out. When Bitcoin bottoms out, very soon altcoins will also bottom out. So that's why we're going to focus on Bitcoin. These indicators will show you how healthy the market is and whether we have already seen the top of this market and whether it's probably a good option to sell everything right now or to actually buy back into the market and to accumulate even more. So let's dive in. These 8 indicators. Very few people talk about these indicators on the internet. They're so extremely powerful, especially the last one that I'm going to show you. So stick around. If you've understood all of these indicators, then you're well equipped to maximize your profits in the crypto market. So the first indicator that I want to show you is the MVRV Z-Score. The MVRV Z-Score is a mathematical computation that shows you how overbought or how oversold this, how overbought or how oversold Bitcoin is. And how you can interpret this chart is the following. The black line is the price of Bitcoin. Now the orange line is the MVRV Z-Score, and you can find this indicator on the internet. It's for free on a website called bitcoinmagazinepro.com. And below this chart, there's also a bit more explanation about how this indicator works and how it can be calculated. But I'm just going to give you the simple overview of how you can use it. So this orange line is the Z-Score. Whenever this orange line hits the red zone, it usually means that, you know, Bitcoin is overvalued and it's generally a great time to take profits. Now, when the orange line hits the green zone, it's generally a sign that Bitcoin is undervalued and it's a great time to accumulate more. So you see that this orange line oscillates between the red zone and the green zone. Now, in the previous bull market, it touched the red zone, and that was probably a really great time to take profits. Here, if we zoom in, that was very close to the top of the bull market. And then when it hit the green box, it was a great time to accumulate more because we were close to the bottom of the bear market. Now, we saw recently that the MVRV Z-Score has been going up a bit, but we are still far from the red zone. And in fact, the Z-Score, the orange line, went down again, meaning that there are still a lot more room for growth according to this indicator. Now, my philosophy is I don't generally like to look at just one single indicator. That's why in this video, I'm going to discuss 8 of my favorite indicators, which have historically been 100% correct. Now, I look for confirmation for at least 3 out of these 8 indicators to tell me that we are close to the top of the bull market before I'm actually going to take significant profits. Now, according to this chart, we are still very far away from a top. But that's just 1 out of the 8 indicators. Now, let's continue. The next indicator, and this one has actually predicted the tops of the previous bull markets within a time span of plus minus 3 days. So whenever this indicator flashes, generally within 3 days after or 3 days before, it was the top of the Bitcoin bull market. Now, what you see here, and let me explain it again, there's a bunch of explanation below this indicator, and you can find it on the same site, bitcoinmagazinepro.com. It's for free, or when you type in Bitcoin Pi Cycle Top Indicator on Google, you'll find the indicator as well. So this indicator looks at 2 different moving averages, the 111-day moving average and the 350-day moving average multiplied times 2. Now, here you see this orange line and this green line, which are these 2 indicators. And basically the top of the bull market is whenever the orange line crosses over the green line. So here we've seen it a few times in the past. The orange line crosses over the green line, and that's a top. The orange line crosses over the green line, that's a top. The orange line crosses over the green line, that's a top. And here the orange line crosses over the green line was the previous top. Now we haven't yet seen that the orange line has crossed over the green line. So that's another indicator showing us that the top of the Bitcoin bull market is not in yet. But again, these are just 2 out of the 8 indicators. If 3 out of the 8 indicators are showing me that we have hit the top already, then for me it's an indicator that I'm going to take significant profits. But so far, 0 out of the 8 indicators have shown me that we are close to the top. Now, the next indicator that I want to discuss is the Bitcoin NUPL indicator. And NUPL stands for Net Unrealized Profit and Loss. Now, what does this mean? Well, it looks at the following. So it looks at how big is the percentage of people that are in profit or are in loss. So here you see these different zones. You see capitulation, that's the green zone. We see hope/fear. We see the yellow zone, optimism/anxiety. Here the orange zone is belief/denial. And then we have the red zone, which is euphoria/greed. Now, this blue line shows us how many of these people are in profit. So the higher the blue line, the bigger the percentage of people that are in profit. So how do we use this indicator? Whenever the blue line is in the orange or touches the red zone, it's generally a very big sign that it's time to take profits. Why? Well, this indicator shows that everyone is making money, most people are in profits, and generally when most people are very big in profit, then generally it's a sign that the whales are going to take profits and that the market is going to tank soon. Now, whenever this blue line is in the white or in the green zone, that's generally a great signal that you should accumulate more because, a lot of people are either break even or in the red. And that's when the market tends to be very fearful and sour and people are panic selling left and right. So according to this indicator, less than 50% of people are in profits, meaning that right now we are in the optimism phase of the market, but we haven't yet broken into the belief and euphoria/greed zone. So according to this indicator, the blue line was slowly approaching the euphoria and the greed zone, but we didn't touch it yet like we did in previous cycles. So again, this is just another indicator which is showing me that there is still a lot more room for growth within this bull market cycle and that we haven't yet seen the top. Okay, the next thing that I want to show you is this indicator. So the Bitcoin investor tool, the 2-year moving average multiplier. So what does this tool do? And again, you can find this tool on the same website for free, bitcoinmagazinepro.com, or simply by typing it in on Google. This indicator looks at 2 ratios. It looks at the 2-year moving average and the 2-year moving average multiplied with 5. So here, historically, you see that whenever the price of Bitcoin, which is the black line, whenever the price of Bitcoin exceeds this red line, which is the 2-year moving average multiplied times 5, is generally a really great time to take profits. Whenever the price of Bitcoin is below this green line, which is a 2-year moving average, is generally a great time to accumulate because you're close to the bottom of the bear market. And this has held true within the previous bull market cycles. Here, whenever we exceeded the red line, it was a great time to take profit. Whenever we were below, it was a great time to accumulate. Now, where are we right now in this cycle? Well, in 2022, we dropped below this green line, the 2-year moving average. And right now we're hovering between the red line and the green line, but we're closer to the green line. So again, another indicator that is showing us that the top of the Bitcoin bull market is not yet in and that we still have room for growth. So half of the indicators that we've discussed so far have confirmed that the top of the bull market is not yet in. But I don't like to look at just 4 indicators. I like to look at least 8 indicators. So maybe the other indicators are showing us something different. And real quick, if you enjoy watching this video, then do me one quick favor. Please smash the like button so I know that you're getting good value out of this. I know that especially in times like this one where everyone is so sour, the fear in the market is at extreme levels, almost comparable to the FTX market. I know that especially during times like this, people are searching for a beacon of hope, someone that can help them to make sense of everything that's going on in the market. And that's why I'm going to be posting regular videos just like this one to help you to make sense of everything that's going on in the market and to make sure that you don't make any stupid mistakes, that you don't sell all of your crypto when instead you should be accumulating, and that you don't accumulate more when instead you should be selling, right? So I'm going to be here in the trenches with you, by your side, throughout this Bitcoin bull market. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure to smash the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any important videos on this channel. So let's continue. Okay, so here you see the Bitcoin stock to flow model. What is the Bitcoin stock to flow model? Well, the Bitcoin stock to flow model was created by a Dutch institutional investor called Plan B. And basically what he looked at was, how does the new supply of Bitcoin, which gets halved every 4 years with the Bitcoin halvings, and the existing supply of Bitcoin, which is already brought into circulation, how does that relate to the price of Bitcoin overall? Now, this has historically been one of the most accurate charts, especially in previous bull market cycles. Everyone within the crypto space really liked to look at the Bitcoin stock to flow model in order to get a sense of where the price of Bitcoin could go. However, it seems like the Bitcoin stock to flow model is not doing a really great job since the previous bull market cycle. But what I like to look at with the Bitcoin stock to flow model is these colors here on the right. So what do these colors represent? They represent the days until the next halving. So last year, April, we had the last Bitcoin halving. And this reset this color of the chart back to red. Now, what do we generally see? Is that the top of the Bitcoin bull market is generally somewhere when Bitcoin is in green, in yellow and green. So every time in the previous bull market, we saw that the top of the bull market was when this chart turned yellow or green, meaning that we were roughly 1,000 days away from the next Bitcoin halving. So this chart just turned orange, meaning that probably we have around 200 to 300 days left until we see the top of the next Bitcoin bull market. If this chart would have already been in yellow and greenish territory, then I would be considering that we might have seen the top of the Bitcoin bull market, but historically that has happened when it was yellow and green. So that's another indicator that is showing me that we haven't yet seen the top of the Bitcoin bull market. So now we have 5 out of the 8 indicators which have shown me that we are not yet close to the top of the Bitcoin bull market. The next chart that I want to show you is the Bitcoin rainbow chart. What does the Bitcoin rainbow chart do? Well, probably you've heard of the saying by Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, one of the best investors in the world. Warren Buffett has this saying, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. The markets are designed to extract the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And the big guys, the big players, they understand that retail investors are driven by emotions, namely greed and fear and greed. And they understand that when the market dumps, then retail investors start to panic. They start to panic sell. And that's when the big institutions, the big players, the whales, they can gobble up cheap Bitcoin because, retail investors are panic selling. Now, what is this chart showing us? Well, this chart is showing us the price of Bitcoin, which is the black line, and it's showing us different colors. And those colors represent the sentiment in the Bitcoin market. And blue means basically a fire sale. Green means buy territory because the masses is panicking. Light green means accumulation. Lighter green means it's still cheap. The yellow zone means the market might be heating up a little bit and people are becoming more greedy. So that's generally a great time to hodl. Orange means we're entering greedy territory. Dark orange means the FOMO is intensifying. Red means it's time to sell because the market is just super greedy. And dark red is extremely greedy territory. So according to this chart, which overlays the market sentiment with the price of Bitcoin, we have not yet seen greedy territory in the market yet. Yes, we've seen a big pump in the market after Donald Trump got elected. The price went up from 60,000 to all the way to 108,000. And that was a short period of a lot of greed. But compared to previous bull markets, the market got a lot more greedier in previous cycles, and we haven't yet seen that. So that's the 6th indicator, which is showing me that we have not yet seen the top of this Bitcoin bull market. Let's have a look at 2 more indicators. So the Puell multiple, in short, the Puell multiple is looking at the supply side of Bitcoin's economy, namely the Bitcoin miners and their revenue. So it is basically saying how profitable are the Bitcoin miners and what are Bitcoin miners doing right now. So are Bitcoin miners forced to capitulate and are they forced to sell their Bitcoin because they're not making enough profit and they need to finance their operations? Or are Bitcoin miners making a lot of money? And that's when we are in the red territory. When Bitcoin miners are making a lot of money and it's one of the most profitable businesses on the planet, that's generally when we are close to the top of the market. When Bitcoin miners are forced to sell their Bitcoin, that's generally when we are close to the bottom or a local bottom. Now, what you see is that we have moved up from green to red, but we're hovering somewhere in between. So again, this indicator is showing us that we still have a lot more room for growth and that we haven't yet seen the top of the Bitcoin bull market. So those were the 8 indicators that I wanted to show you. The MVRV Z-Score, the Pi Cycle Top Indicator, the Net Unrealized Profit and Loss, NUPL, the RODL ratio, the Bitcoin Investor Tool, so the 2-year moving average multiplier, the stock to flow model, and the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, and finally the Puell multiple. So all of these 8 indicators have shown us that we have not yet seen the top of the Bitcoin bull market. And These indicators are confirming to me that this is just another dip within a longer term bull market. Yes, in the previous bull market cycles, we've seen -20, -30, -40% corrections. That is very common, and that's exactly what we are experiencing right now. Of course, there's a lot of macro things that are happening in the world right now. Some of the stuff that I mentioned in the introduction of this video. Of course, we have some geopolitical issues in Ukraine, in the Middle East. China is facing deflation. So in case you didn't know or you haven't been watching the news, China came out with a report of their inflation numbers, and it actually showed that inflation is negative, meaning deflation. So what is deflation? So instead of everything becoming more expensive, everything is becoming less expensive. Now, you might think less expensive, that sounds great, that means everything is becoming more affordable. Well, it also creates another problem. And you have to understand where this deflation is coming from. In China, most investors have invested in real estate because it's part of a cultural phenomenon. They don't really invest in the stock market, they invest in real estate. Why? Because as a man within Chinese culture, from what I understood, it's very important to show to your future wife and your family-in-law that you have a lot of financial stability. So it became a really great flex to invest in real estate, to have multiple homes. And this really triggered a real estate bubble within China, because people started to buy up more and more real estate, and this drove up the price of real estate and a lot of speculation within the real estate market, up to the point that there were whole ghost cities within China. Maybe you've seen the images, but ghost cities within China where there's just buildings with apartments that are not used because they simply speculate, all right, I'm just going to buy this apartment and I don't even need to live there because the price of it will go up in the future, and then I can just sell it for a nice profit in the future. Well, all of that house of cards just came crumbling down. Last year, we saw some very big Chinese real estate developers going bust, and this is now bringing down the price of real estate in China. And the real estate sector has been one of the biggest drivers of economic growth for the past decades. China was known as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, mainly because their real estate sector was growing so rapidly, but all of that is now crumbling down, meaning prices of houses are becoming cheaper, and this is dragging everything down, meaning that everything is slowly becoming cheaper. And the problem is, if you have debt or if you have a mortgage and the price of your real estate object is going down, then you might be margin called by the bank saying like, hey, we gave you a mortgage for, let's say, 1 million, but the value of your house is 800,000 right now. You need to deposit another 200,000 in order for us to be on par with your mortgage. And this can trigger down forced selling, a cascading effect, driving everything down further. Also, if you are in debt and the prices of products and services are dropping, it means that you need to sell more products and services in order to satisfy your debt obligation. So this is creating a lot of problems in the economy. Whereas when you have inflation and everything is becoming more expensive, it means it's over time easier to pay off your debt, meaning that companies and individuals can borrow more money because they know that in the future it will be easier to pay off that debt. So yeah, that's one of the factors which is creating a lot of uncertainty. Not that long ago, we also saw that China was coming out with their own artificial intelligence models, which challenge the AI dominance of the United States. So there's just so much going on, and the market is just a little bit fearful. But fears and times like these usually tend to fade away over time. It's just something that the world needs to accept, embrace, and then move forward. Also, similarly with the tariffs, we've seen under Trump's previous presidency, we also saw him threatening with tariffs, and this also dumped the markets a little bit. And 6 months later, the market was at new all-time highs. So in times like these, all you need to do is you need to just take a little step back, take a bird's eye view, look at some objective indicators, just like the 8 indicators that I've shown in this video, and then take a breath or take a deep breath in, let it go, and understand that you are not your emotions, all right? You can decouple your emotions because, yeah, when you're looking at your portfolio app, it is very painful to see that your portfolio is maybe down and it might go even lower or not. You never know. But when everyone around you is negative, when the headline when the newspaper headlines are negative, yeah, it's really difficult to keep up your own morale. And that's why you need to watch videos like this one. So I hope that this video was useful to you. If it was, again, do me one quick favor, smash the like button so that I know that you got good value out of it. And if you haven't done so yet, also make sure to subscribe to my channel, because especially in times like this one, I'm going to make sure that I'll be with you in the trenches, and I'm going to help you to make sense of everything that's going on so that we can maximize our profits as investors within this market. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Take care. And I'll see you in the next one.